She started with, "Nobody wants you here." Everyone laughed. A room filled with relatives wearing the same smug grin, pretending her cruelty was just humor. My granddaughter had spilled grape juice on my blouse, and the red mark spread across my chest like a wound that refused to close. Their laughter grew louder. I smiled. Then I left. That night, I scrubbed the blouse until my hands burned raw. The stain stayed. So did her words. By morning, none of them would have anything to laugh about. The beginning. I remember when my daughter, Clara, first introduced Mark. Polite, soft-spoken, with a salesman's smile that appeared too easily. He shook my hand and called me Mom. No one ever had before. My husband died young, and Clara grew up watching me juggle 3 jobs just to keep us afloat. Mark said he admired that. Said I reminded him of strength. He moved into Clara's house even before the wedding, promising to take care of her, and of me too. I believed him. I helped with their down payment. I watched them build a life, brick by brick, on the trust one gave them. Years later, that trust began to crack. Quietly at first, then all at once. The betrayal. It started small. He stopped visiting, stopped calling. When I dropped by, he'd glance at his watch, barely hiding his impatience. The distance grew like mold in a damp room. Then Clara's warmth faded too. When I finally asked if something was wrong, she said softly, "Mark thinks you meddle too much. He says you make people uncomfortable." Uncomfortable. The word pierced like a blade. I started to notice things. The new car Mark drove, the whispers that fell silent when I entered, my name evaporating from conversations as I approached. I wasn't meant to hear, but I did. Then the account started disappearing. The emergency savings I'd kept in Clara's name were gone. The lawyer said my signature was on the withdrawal form. It wasn't. I didn't argue, didn't cry. I just watched. When you've been underestimated your whole life, you learn that silence can cut deeper than anger. The shift. Revenge didn't come in a rush. It brewed slowly, dark and bitter, like coffee left too long on the stove. Mark worked in property development, all charm and polish on the surface, but his foundation was crumbling. Once, I glimpsed some documents he left on the counter, tiny print, exaggerated numbers, the kind of tricks that hide fraud if you know what to look for. He forgot that I used to be an accountant. So I began collecting not rumors, but evidence. Old tax returns, contracts, transfers. Clara had access to his laptop. She didn't know what she was really showing me when she asked for help organizing receipts. But I did. Then came the party, the one where I was told nobody wants you here. That's when I decided it was time. The plan. The next morning, I called in a few favors. One from an old coworker, now a financial investigator. Another from my lawyer, the same man who'd handled my late husband's estate. I handed over everything. The documents, the transfers, the accounts under Mark's brother's name. They found enough to destroy a company, and maybe a marriage, too. I waited 2 weeks. Attended family dinners. Smiled. Brought my granddaughter gifts. Mark still looked at me like he'd already won, as if I were some faded relic clinging to relevance. He didn't see the walls closing in. Then one Monday morning, it broke. Local developer under investigation for fraud and embezzlement. His face was all over the news. His company frozen. His account seized. Clara called me in tears. "They're saying horrible things about him, Mom." I didn't respond right away. "Come over," I said. She did. Mark didn't. He was too busy trying to clean up what couldn't be cleaned. The confrontation. 3 days later, he showed up unannounced. Stormed into my kitchen like he still owned something there. "You did this," he spat, his voice trembling. "You think I don't know?" I didn't look up from my tea. "If you knew," I said quietly, "you'd already be gone." He slammed his hand on the table. "You ruined me." I finally met his eyes, and for the first time, he saw it. The quiet fury, the sharpness he'd mistaken for frailty. "You ruined yourself," I said. I just turned on the lights. He left without another word. The door shut behind him. Punctuation to a sentence long overdue. The payoff. A week later, Clara returned. Alone. She had discovered everything. The fake loans, the hidden accounts, the forged signature on my withdrawal form. She sat at my kitchen table and wept. "I thought he loved us," she whispered. "He loved himself." I told her, "You were just standing in his reflection." The silence that followed wasn't bitter anymore. It was calm, like the air after a storm. Then the call came. Mark had been arrested. At that same hour, I folded the stained blouse and tucked it into the bottom of my drawer, the one with the red mark that never washed out.